Ladies and gentlemen, what's poppin'? It's your boy Sim, and I'm here with my man Tony Crow, and we're just doing a quick little joint to talk about a couple of topics. Tony, what's poppin' with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's good, Sim? Always good to be back on the front stoop
Yeah,
talking.
man. Yeah, no doubt about it. First thing I want to get into is Dame Dash. He said there's no rapping Jay Z without him. Uh, you know, I don't know. Let's just listen to what he said. He said it in an interview. All right, let's listen to what Dame Dash said, and then we'll go ahead and we'll break it down. All right, take a listen.
I shop Jay-Z to every single label. Kevin Liles, Leo, all of them. Every single label, they all said no. And he becomes one of the greatest rappers alive. So my PST is I'm never going to shop anyone or listen to anyone again. Those are the same people that are up under this that said that he was too old, rapped too fast, and dressed corny. From Kev Liles to Warner to Def Jam, we had to do it ourselves. For me, I learned don't listen to nobody. Because if I would have listened to them, there would be no Jay-Z, because he wasn't going to do it. There would be no rapping Jay-Z if it wasn't for me, 100,000%.
Okay, there you go. There'd be no rapping Jay Z without Dame. That's what Dame says. Tony, do you buy it?
Do I buy it? I mean, my question today would be if there was no rapping Jay-Z without you, who would what Jay-Z would there
Right,
be?
right.
Because I think it's very specific that he says rapping
Rapping Jay Z.
Jay-Z as opposed to you know what I mean? Does that mean he still would have been
I
in
mean,
his previous dealings prior to
maybe. I
hip
mean,
hop?
but Jay was rapping before Dame, right? I mean, he was on tour with. He was Big Daddy Kane's roadie. You know what I mean? He did the Hawaiian Sophie fame joint. You know what I'm saying with Jazz. So
Well, maybe he's referring to the success of
the success,
the rapper.
right? You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't have got the deals. I guess he's saying without him. I was listening to. Who was I listening to? Beanie Siegel on Drink Champs. And he said, because Nori kind of, asked him, he was trying to get at who was the better CEO, Nori was. And he asked him, who would you pick as a CEO? And he was like, listen, Dame is a hell of a CEO. Like, he's a hell of a CEO, but it's always his delivery. It's the delivery. Like, Jay is a good CEO, he said, but Jay is cool and smooth. You know what I'm saying? Where Dame is like brash. And I'm kind of paraphrasing what Beanie Siegel was saying, but he said it's the delivery of Dame Dash. And I always find that in interviews, like, this is a little clip, you know what I mean? But I always find that in interviews with Dame is like, he's kind of brash. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that, I can communicate with you, he doesn't seem approachable. I think Jay seems more approachable to people. You know what I'm saying? People not afraid to have a conversation with Jay. I mean, Jay, like where he is now, Jay is more like, all right, I'm royalty. It kind of feels like that. But I think back then, Jay was probably more of an approachable, like, and when I say approachable, it doesn't mean like any Joe Blow on the street is gonna approach him, but like people at the same business level would look and say, I'd rather have a discussion or conversation with Jay-Z than with Dame Dash.
I mean, I think Dame would have been the more approachable. I mean, especially when you're talking about you and I.
Man.
And when I say you and I don't mean like literally you and I. I mean people like you and I.
But that's what I'm saying about. That's why I said people on that business level.
It's
You know
on
what
the
I'm saying? As
corporate
far
side.
as
Yeah, absolutely.
being an
Absolutely.
executive, you like, I don't want to have a conversation with Dame because he seems rude. Where Jay's more open to having a conversation with you, it
Yeah.
seems to me. You know what I'm saying? Where, like right now, even on that executive level, you got to be at make a certain amount of money to even get at Jay. Where, Dame, probably now you probably can, you know, but I'm speaking more on an executive level. I think corporate level, I think those people would probably rather do business with Jay than Dame Dash
But how
because
much
he
of that
seems
is
so brash and like
how much of that, like, I agree with you 100%. And that's probably Dame's
biggest flaw.
downfall, if you
Mm-hmm.
will.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what caused, that's like the root of the separation,
Yeah.
because people had to kind of try to cut him out. And I'm
Right.
not talking about Jay, I'm talking about the corporate guys. You know what I mean? Like, we know the stories of the meetings. You know what I mean? Like, he had to make his presence known. But how much of that goes back to exactly what he's saying in him shopping Jay, him shopping the label, and nobody believing in their vision, and then him having to, you know,
I agree.
collectively
I
put
agree.
it together themselves.
I agree. I think he is very shrewd. You know what I'm saying? He's a shrewd businessman. He's not gonna make any, a lot of times from what I get with him, this is what I'm doing, here's my goals, and you're not gonna stop me. I'm not even gonna take a turn here, a turn there. You know what I'm saying? Let's boom. He seems very shrewd, and I think that's probably what helped Rockefeller become Rockefeller and Jay-Z, to claim some success is because he was a shrewd businessman, but I think he didn't know how to mix that shrewdness with, and it's probably what made them to actually a good team,
Hmm.
that you have the shrewd business side from Dame, and then you have the cool and smooth part that's able to talk with people. And all right, Dame said this. Let me smooth it over real quick. Let me explain to you what he's trying to say. You know what I mean? Too bad they couldn't make sure that they was on the same page. Obviously, Dame says, Jay did,
Well,
if you
that's what
listen
I
to a
was
lot of
just gonna add.
stories,
That's what I was just gonna add, because if you're looking at it from Dame's perspective, right? And he had to be the shrewd one, right? He
mhm,
had to be the voicey one. He had to make the people uncomfortable, right?
mhm,
Whether that was a collective or that was just Dame being Dame, the expectation that Dame had was, what I'm doing, I'm not doing this for me, I'm doing this for us.
mhm,
You know what I mean? I'm doing this for the collective.
mhm.
And then for the collective to split, you know what I mean? It's almost like when a friend and his wife or his girlfriend, whatever, two mutual friends I know are dating, and they're going through it. And I'm not gonna pick sides, right? Because now if I pick sides and then y'all men
Y'all man
fences,
fences,
you know what I
right,
mean? Now I'm
right.
stuck looking like the
But
you know what I mean?
yeah, see
The,
what I think happened with
the
Dame.
donkey.
What I think happened, you know what I'm saying? Him having to be that shrewd one and never having that cool side to him, never having the right delivery, is now when him and Jay split. It's other businessmen out there that can do what Dame Dash does. And if you're Jay and maybe you don't have the same business acumen, well, you know what this dude does. Jay is smart enough and observant enough to
Recognize.
know, all right, this dude can do this. Let me get this person up under me, get this person up under me. Right. So now I got business minds behind me too that I could put with my business mind and my delivery, you know what I mean? And boom, now we can really get some things done. Where now Dame don't have the cool side and he just got the brash side. So now it makes it even harder for him to get some things done because he's missing that piece where Jay-Z was able to go get, you know, the other pieces that can help him, be where he is.
But how much does the separation, like if him and Jay never separated, right? do you think Dame's presence hinders Jay-Z's growth more, or Jay-Z's absence hurt Dame's
Yeah,
presence more?
yeah. Jay-Z's absence hurt Dame more, in my opinion, because one, Jay-Z is the name, so he's the person that people want. You know what I'm saying? And then two, Dame is, like I said, very brash. His delivery is not always, what people want it to be. And sometimes as a businessman, you got to be that way. You know what I mean? The thing is, their feud don't seem like it's ever going to get over. It don't seem like they ever are going to be able to patch things up. You know what I mean? You don't hear much from Jay-Z about Dame, but you hear from Dame about Jay-Z a lot.
And unfortunately, I mean, that is true. That's one thing I do wish didn't have to be highlighted as much. But whether from Dame in general or just people in general, I really wish people would really start to look at what Dame has done since Rockefeller and what he's currently doing and trying to build. Because I think it's brilliant. It can be successful. He continues to invest in himself and believe in himself. And to me, that's the only currently that's the only stain that we gotta always go back to the Jay-Z, him bringing up Jay-Z, or him being asked about Jay-Z, or you know what I mean, this type of thing.
Yeah,
because he's doing big things, or he's trying to do big things.
Here's also what I'm gonna say about someone like Dame being shrewd. I also feel like shrewd businessmen are honest with you too. Like they're gonna tell you, nah, I'm not doing it, or or this ain't gonna work. Q, yeah, definitely, call back in, or nah, it ain't gonna work, or nah, this just ain't happening. When I feel like someone like Jay is a little slippery. You know what I'm saying? And so I believe Dame. I'm not gonna lie, I believe Dame. I believe Dame about some of the things that he said about what went down with Rockefeller and yeah, all of that. I definitely believe him. I do. I feel like Jay is kind of slippery.
I mean,
You know what
I think
I feel like Jay is slippery.
And that's why I always kind of credit Dame. Like you were saying earlier, it's never been the message with him. It was always the delivery of the message. You know what I mean? But the message, if you take away, if you listen to the words and the meaning and the message behind what he's saying, rather than the tone and the the animation in what he's saying, I mean, 90% of the time it's the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's for the benefit of the group. You know what I mean? The benefit of the company, the benefit of, you know what I mean? It's own our stuff, run our stuff. It's about self-empowerment. And it's always been that.
I'm with it. I just wish, like Beanie said, he's a hell of a CEO. I just wish he knew how to bring that delivery across. But, Dame is Dame. You know what I mean? I got Q on the line. Q, what's popping with you, brother?
Hey, what's up, fam? Hey, I work 4 to 12, and I drank 2 coffees today, and I can't sleep for some reason.
I hear you.
But I'm always right with y'all. But listen, on this topic, it's true. Dame made Jay-Z. And I know Jay-Z said in that song, I forgot which one, but I know the line.
Make another
one. Make another one.
He said you make another one. You know what I mean? Which is a cold-blooded line, but the truth. But like he turned his back on Dame. Dame made him. Dame was the one that ran to the different record labels and tried to sell Jay-Z when they wasn't failing him. And it's heartbreaking. I mean, it's not heartbreaking in a way that happens in business. There's several businesses, even in some corporate businesses, where like people turn on like their fellow founding members or whatever like that. It happens in business. business is not always up and up. They're not always, you know, they're not always on up and up. Like some people turn it back, and that's just what it happens to be. But and I'm a Jay-Z fan, and definitely a Jay-Z fan. He's in my top 5, not my top 3, but he's in my top 5. But yeah, it sucks though, and I respect Dame, for bringing Jay-Z into our lives pretty much. And Jay-Z owes his career to Dame if he doesn't admit it or not, if he admits it or not. But that's all I got to say. And I like to ask y'all, who's in y'all top 3? By the way, and I like to hear that often.
My top 3, I mean, know, Nas, obviously. I'm a huge Nas fan, so Nas is always in my top 3. Rakim, Biggie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Rakim, Biggie. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, that's probably in my top 3 right there. I'm a huge Rakim fan. I love Rakim. Huge Rakim fan. Nas fan.
Yeah.
And I just think Biggie had everything all around. I'm a Jay-Z fan too. He's in my top 5.
Yeah,
he's in my top 5. I just I never got fully into Jay-Z like I did with Nas and Rakim and Biggie, or even Lauryn Hill, to be honest with you. I'm a huge Lauryn Hill fan too. She's actually in my top 5. And I know a lot of people are like, what? She only got 1 album, but that's how great of an artist
one
I think
album
she is. Yeah, that one album is crazy.
Yeah. Plus her foodie stuff. I'd like to ask you real quick about
my bad.
female MCs.
Hold, go ahead, Tony. Tony was gonna say his.
My bad, Tony. Go ahead.
Nah, I got Nas, Tupac, and Big Pun. Actually, I think.
Yo, come on, yo. You can't be giving, yo. I think people give. I got this thing I call dead points, yo. Like as soon as a rapper dies, people try to bump him up in the proper pound, so to speak, top 5 or whatever.
Can I ask something? Just off that point.
Mm-hmm.
And Sim, you my man. But why is it okay for Sim to put Big there and I can't put Pun there?
That's the same thing, and I just
they
both
had
thing.
2 albums.
First of all, I think Black Thought is better than both Pun and Biggie. Black Thought is better, and for some reason people don't put him in their top 3.
I can't argue with that. Black Thought is nasty. I seen him do a 10.
Black Thought is one of the greatest.
I seen him do a 10.
And KRS-One.
If you seen him on I can't think of it. I guess it was on Hot 97. He did a 10-minute.
Yeah.
10-minute.
Yeah.
Freestyle. That joint was nuts.
Oh,
and that's really my favorite 3, not top 3. That's my favorite 3.
Yeah, people, all right, look, I love Tupac, I love Pun, I love Biggie, but for people not to put Black Thought in their top 3 is just ludicrous to me.
Okay. I mean, I have no arguments with Thought, man.
Yeah, Thought.
He's crazy.
Yeah, man. And that's all I got to say. I could talk forever about hip hop.
Yeah.
I'm even more long-winded when it comes to hip hop than I am about talking about the Knicks. So y'all need to let me go while you can.
Yeah.
So y'all.
I appreciate you, Q.
I appreciate it.
Peace.
Listen, real quick though. I'm gonna stop answering top 3 questions, and I'm gonna preference by favorite 3 because I feel like number 1 is subjective, right?
It is.
But my only pushback to Q, is I have reason why, there's no I like Black Thought. I've always liked the Roots because of Black Thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't even realize how many members was in that group. I only knew Black Thought. But my thing with why I like Pac, why I like Pun so much is their versatility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like and so it's not especially with Tupac is not about lyrics or being lyrical, but it's more about the message. It's more about the feeling, you know what I mean? The reality and then Pun on the other hand, versatility. Like, you know what I mean? Like he
Yeah.
could be funny, he could be, you know what I mean? He get me
Yeah.
to the gutter street records, party records.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, so
Yeah.
I feel like he did what Big did, as the Pun did what Big did, but to me it just felt a little bit more like he had a larger spectrum.
Yeah. See, I like what JJP said. He said Black Thought is one of his faves, but he doesn't have songs. He doesn't have, yeah. I mean, that I think that goes to that's part of being, you know, rapping, hip hop being, listed in your top 5. Like how many songs you got? How many like super classic songs do you have? And things like that. I think all of that becomes
Mm-hmm.
part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's one of the best
But
lyricists
one of the best lyricists ever. Yeah, he
Like,
go crazy.
but
Black Thought can go crazy. But do you have those other parts to it too? You know what I mean? JJP also said, shrewd is only acceptable for the white guys. That's the corporate mentality. He's shrewd because the labels and other companies thought they were dumb talking about Dame Dash. You know what I mean? And I don't disagree. You know what I mean? He probably did have to be shrewd because of those things. Whether or not it, hurt him in his solo as he's flying solo, but he had to come in being tough.
and I'll give Sean Price an honorable mention. I know he passed away too. Rest in peace to all these guys.
Yeah.
But super underrated.
Yeah.
And he's a lyrical guy too. Sean Price.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you can go get a verse from Sean Price right now. His wife, selling verses. I don't know how much they cost, but you can go get a verse and do something with it. Yeah. Daz Dillinger blast Dr. Dre over royalties from the Chronic. You know what I mean? He says, happy 31st to the Chronic, Dr. Dre, but when can we receive our royalties? Are you or Interscope gonna rob us like Death Row Records in 2024? Niggas from the past who ran it, straight bitches, said fuck them. Remember, Daz copyright reversions law is filed. I want percentage, not points. So y'all are on a time limit, 4 more years, and it reverts back. Then it's really gonna fuck them. I ain't clearing shit. You know what I'm saying? Blasting Dr. Dre. He wants his royalties. And I mean, in his mind, doesn't sound like he's getting any royalties. Or he's kind of like, I know I'm not getting royalties from it. So boom. Here's the tough thing about, especially back then. And I hear a lot of artists, I watch Drink Champs all the time. So I hear a lot of artists say, nah, man, I did that record just so I can get on.
For the look.
Exactly. I did that record so I can get on. I didn't get nothing from it. I didn't get no cash. I didn't get any points, any royalties, nothing. Just so I can get on. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are happy. They're like, but I'm cool with it because I got on, I made my money, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And that happened a lot. It still happens to today, I'm sure. If you don't have a name, this dude has a name. He's like, okay, I'm gonna put you on this record. You know what I mean? And that's tough. You know what I mean? But it sounds like, he says, when can we receive our royalties? He ain't just say me. He said we. Now he might be talking about Dog Pound, but it sounds like it might be some other people that ain't receiving royalties too. You know what I mean?
Not surprising.
What do you think about it?
Not surprising. And Daz has never been one to bite his tongue or be fearful of a response. I say if money is owed, pay the money. You know what I mean? If royalties are being held, give them back. Like, forget this timeline of when they revert back. Do the right thing now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, especially a Dr. Dre, like you said, allegedly, but you sitting on a billy, right?
You know what I mean?
You made, granted, whether how much came from this particular, but you made enough money to not have to hold on to other people's uh properties. You know what I mean?
Right.
Intellectual
Right.
property.
Right. I mean, the thing is, I don't know how much. Listen, Dr. Dre should have enough money. Aftermath, whatever. Yeah, I guess Aftermath is still around, right? They should have enough money. I don't know if the Chronic was on Aftermath, was it? Yeah, it was on Aftermath,
Uh,
right? Or was it on Death
no,
Row?
no, no, no. That's on Death Row, I believe.
It's on Death Row.
Yeah, that's because not Chronic is Death Row.
Okay. But Interscope owns the masters to it. So Interscope has the right to all of that, not Death Row. Because right now, Snoop owns Death Row. And, I doubt he has the Chronic, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
under
no,
Death
he
Row
might.
right now.
Dre might have got the Chronic in the. That might have been his only thing he was able to take from when leaving Death Row. But it was done on Death Row.
Okay.
Because remember, he split with Death Row. He didn't leave with anything. That might have been the only thing he was able to remain in control of.
Yeah, it might be. Let me see. I'm just going to look up, see who owns the masters to it right now. You know what I mean? Hopefully Dre owns the masters.
And Daz ain't jumping out the window. I mean, even if Dre don't own the masters, that's still Daz. You know what I mean? Keeping that energy up with him.
Actually, I mean, what I'm reading through Hype Beast, Snoop
Mhm.
actually owns the masters.
Mm.
That's what it says. It says Snoop is now the owner of the masters of Dr. Dre's first studio album, The Chronic. Last month, and this is an article from I don't know,
Yeah, when he
October,
bought that
whatever.
bro, I'm assuming.
Yeah, older article. He said it was announced that Snoop Dogg has acquired Death Row Records after purchasing it from MNRK Music Group. Yeah, I mean, listen, Snoop said that one of his goals with Death Row is to get people their money. People that did not get their money, to get people their money. I don't know what that means, fully what that means, and how that would work with these guys getting their royalties. But that's crazy. So Dre doesn't even own the masters to the Chronic. So maybe he's coming after the wrong person.
Or maybe he wasn't. Maybe
You know
he was just keeping that energy with Dre. They don't necessarily get along. So
yeah,
that's on par. And I've never heard him say anything bad about Snoop over the
nah,
year. You know what I mean? Like ever.
right. Amani said there will never be a Dr. Dre and Daz involved reunion, anything ever. That was solidified back at the end of the Death Row days. Now Snoop and Daz and corrupt reunion for sure one day. Yeah. Said Daz needs to drop that Dillinger Machiavelli EP on streaming services. I mean, they're probably, it's probably not going to be a reunion. It's crazy with Dre. Dre was, not that Dre was in the news, but LL was just in the news lately and said that he's got I think he said 50 something tracks with Dre and scrapped them all because, the quality wasn't there, or, they didn't feel like they got out exactly what they, like what his feelings were, what his thoughts were, didn't get it out. You know what I'm saying? Over the music. But we find this a lot with Dre. And you hear that a lot.
I was just gonna say, did we scrap it or did Dre scrap it?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
you hear it all the time with Dre.
Perfectionist.
Right? Yeah.
And I don't doubt LL's a perfectionist too. So it may be that may have made it even tougher for them to collectively say, "Hey, we agree on this song right here."
Right. You know what I'm saying? Who was it? I don't know who it was, but somebody was saying that they think Dre is afraid to drop something because he doesn't feel like it can live up to, the previous work. Right. So, he doesn't want to ruin that legacy. He doesn't want to put out anything unless it can live up to that. So, like with so he ain't dropping nothing.
Damn. I got a question, Sim.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to do it because we both Nas fanatics. How much of the lack of success of the firm do you think had to do with any of this? Because that didn't live up to. I'm trying to look at what are you afraid of, bro? Like you put out Chronic 2000 whatever, that didn't live up to the Chronic. You know what I mean? Your involvement in the firm didn't necessarily push that album to the heights of what it was supposed to be. Not saying he was the reason, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
either you an artist or you not. If you know what I mean, either you a producer or you not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. There's been tracks. People. I've heard some people say that, leaked on several different albums or other people's albums or soundtracks or whatever stuff from Detox has leaked onto all these things because Dre didn't feel like it was gonna live up to it. How much did the firm lead into, if this is his mentality, how much did it lead into it? I think probably a lot. I think it did. You know what I'm saying? But also with the firm, it was more than just, when you hear people talk about it, it was always, too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. Track masters and
Right.
Dre.
Too many people on different labels trying to get everyone together and involved. It just wasn't happening. So the chemistry with everybody wasn't there. I want to get another firm album though. AZ was just on Math Hoffa. You know what I'm saying? And they asked him about the firm. That was a weird interview. If you see it, right?
That's all right.
You saw it? Because like A wasn't like, he wasn't trying to answer, like, it's him. Not that he was doing anything on purpose.
He's not controversial.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's number one.
Right.
So he ain't falling for no type of
right.
He's gonna be clear in the question before he answers it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's always been
he's just reserved
out of
like
the
that.
Out of the public. Like he said it.
Yeah.
I'm about the money, not the fame.
Yeah. There was just, they was trying to get him to reveal some of his personality, this and that. And he was just like, it was hard. That's why the interview got cut so short.
He's been on a press run, and I feel like that was the worst one. That was the worst interview.
Yeah. That was the worst one. That one, it was a rough interview. It was getting awkward towards the end when they kept on trying to pull him out.
Why.
He wouldn't do it.
I think every other interview he did, he had a relation. It was clear he had a relationship with somebody else there that he was doing the interview with. Where I feel like the Math Hoffa show, he was there more because of where Math Hoffa is today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was like, oh, you got to get on the Math Hoffa show. That's the
yeah.
But it wasn't because he watches Math Hoffa, or it wasn't.
He don't watch none of it.
They have a relationship.
Yeah. He said he don't watch none. And now the crazy thing is,
that was a real press run.
Yeah, I seen him with some other dudes. I forgot who they were, and like that conversation was smooth.
It's two guys.
Yeah, two.
It's probably SO and the people that used to be on the Math Hoffa show.
Exactly. Yeah, it was them.
Bad Few.
Yeah, Math. Yeah, it was them. And and it was smooth. It was way better. You know what I'm saying?
But he got a relationship with SO.
You know
he
what I mean?
know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, he knows
exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that was it was a rough, awkward interview. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, I don't know what y'all trying to get me to say. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, it's
Asked
just
about
boom, boom,
Fox
boom.
writing her own rhymes. Like he wasn't falling for. Like I'm not controversial. If
Right.
I don't got a good, bad, good to say, I'm not
I'm
saying
not
nothing.
saying it.
You know
what
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's not what he said, but that's the vibe you get. Like,
Right.
yo,
But they was asking him about a Firm album, another Firm album. He was just kind of like, is that something that people would want? You know what I mean? And is there a market for it and things like that? I mean, I'm like, hell yeah, I think people would love to hear another, especially today, you all know how to do it better. Y'all was young back then. Today, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all get it a little bit more. You know what I mean? I think, musically, I think you get it a little bit more. I think that would be a crazy album. I don't know if I would have Dr. Dre produce it, but
hit boy.
yeah, I would definitely have Hit Boy do it. You know what I mean? I think that would work. I think that would definitely work. I wouldn't have Dr. Dre do it. You know what I mean? Might not ever come out if they did it. If Dr. Dre is doing it, it might not ever come out. You know what I mean? But, I hope Daz gets his money. Hope all the rappers get their money from any royalties, from any, masters, whatever it is. I hope they get their money. You know what I mean? Hope they get it. Last thing, man, and Tony, I think you probably, have a little more, background knowledge on it than me. So I'll let you kind of talk about it and take the lead with it. Jonathan Majors, dropped from Marvel after the verdict. You know what I'm saying? I like Jonathan Majors as an actor. I think he's on his way to being, a great actor. You know what I mean? Just unfortunate, with what's going down with him right now, man. What's your thoughts about it?
I could go a bunch of different ways, right? I feel like number one, this is unfortunate, right? Unfortunate because he lost his job. You know what I mean? Like got fired from a lucrative job, like a life-changing job.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was gonna have him set up. Forget the superstardom part, right? But financially, this was gonna put him in a place that was generational wealth. And I feel like getting dropped by Marvel in that role with everything that he lost, the upcoming roles, I think that's bad. It's unfortunate. The domestic violence part, I feel like first off, obviously no one condones domestic violence on any
Right.
level.
Right.
I do think personally those charges were frivolous. I feel like it was a witch hunt or man hunt, whatever. Like they was just out to get him. I followed the case as much as I could. I feel like there shouldn't have even been a trial or charge in general. The two of the four charges he was convicted of ultimately are misdemeanor charges.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So even the Disney aspect of losing the job, I feel like was overreaction. And I feel like this was a lot of racial undertones behind the case in general. I mean, black man, white woman, I mean, we've seen prominent white men. Who was it? Danny Kane or Dane Kane? What's the dude's name that Stephen A. didn't want to talk about when he smacked his wife or whatever it was?
Oh, the dude. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this guy ain't lose his job. You know what I mean? Stephen A. didn't want to talk about it. That's a personal friend. Da 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 da. But this man is obviously number one. diffusing himself from the situation. Like this camera footage of him being chased by this woman. You know what I mean? Even the altercation that he was ultimately convicted of, I think they said it's called reckless assault, which is
Right.
basically an unintentional damage that he caused to this woman's finger and the reported scratch on her head, which to me personally wasn't even proven that he caused without a reasonable doubt. So I just feel like the whole case in general was unfortunate. I feel like somebody, whether it's the prosecutor himself, who's also a black man, um, or somebody else in the higher position, had an axe to grind and had a personal vendetta to bring
Yeah.
these charges forward. And the fact that they arrested her and didn't charge her, and she's openly admitted in his case of her becoming physical with him. It's just an unequal standard.
Yeah. I mean, listen to everything that he's lost. All right, Marvel Studios fired Majors on December 18th, right? The same day that they found him guilty of, the domestic violence charges. He was set to play Kang, right? And filmed months before his arrest. Loki season 2 aired in October with Majors in a prominent role. Avengers, was supposed to come out in 2025. He's dropped from Marvel, right? He's dropped from Marvel. Let me see. Magazine Dreams, the bodybuilding drama that he received praise for at Sundance, was removed from the theatrical release calendar, according to the Hollywood Reporter. All right, several other projects in development dropped Majors from their cast. Right, so the actor would no longer star in the film adaptation of the Walter Mosley novel The Man in My Basement, or be considered for the unannounced fifth season's Otis Redding biopic Otis and Zelma. He was also announced as part of Spike Lee's The Understudy, but there have been no further updates on the film since March 7th, 2023.
Spike better not drop him.
Yeah.
Spike better not drop him, because
Right.
Spike might be the only bridge that he like he might be the bridge to bringing him back into the grace of the public eye.
Bringing him back in, right?
Even though I feel like I'm not gonna be adamant on this. You know what I mean? Like domestic violence is nothing to
it's
you know
right,
what I mean? To play around with.
It's nothing to play around with, but it's got to be fair on all sides too. Right? His management team, Majors, was reportedly dropped from his management team at Entertainment 360 and his PR team at the lead company. Right? But he's still represented by WME. Brand deals. Within the first week of Majors' arrest, the U.S. Army postponed a campaign featuring Majors. The Texas Rangers removed Majors from their 2023 season ad campaign that was reportedly set to debut on Friday, whenever Friday was. As for already announced endeavors, Valentino and Majors have also mutually agreed that the actor will no longer attend this year's Met Gala. He's also stepping down from the Gotham Film Media Institute board and its Sidney Poitier initiative. That's a nonprofit board that he was part of. Something happens, man. They strip everything.
I'm just saying, number one, keep that same energy with everybody, yo. You know what I mean? Keep that same energy with everybody.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Big shout out to my man Triborough Gigolo in the building. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen him in a while because I haven't been on the stoop in a while. But we here now. We here now. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to Triborough, man. You know. Yeah. You know, unfortunate, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was so many there's so many holes in that case, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. But yo, Tony, man, I'm it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to get something to eat still. I'm hungry.
I feel you, bro.
You know what I mean? I'm about to grab me something to eat and you know, grab something to eat and go to sleep and get up and do some work. You know, I might try to jump on tomorrow night too with some other news.
All right, keep me posted.
What time you get off of work tomorrow?
Should be home about 9:30.
About 9:30? Yeah, maybe we can jump on. Maybe we can do something tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm with it.
No doubt.
No Nick game, so I'm with it.
Yeah, no doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Be easy and just look for notifications. Hopefully maybe we'll be on tomorrow night, a little bit earlier than 2 a.m. You know what I mean?